In the midst of a tense military operation, the soldiers found themselves under an unusual attack. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a swarm of tiny insects descended upon their position with alarming intensity. The insects buzzed fiercely, covering everything in a dark, shimmering cloud that obscured the sky. The artillery unit, led by Captain Miller, quickly realized their usual tactics wouldn't work against such an assault. He ordered his men to take cover as the insects started crawling into every crack and crevice around them. The soldiers tried to swat the insects away, but their numbers were overwhelming, and the insects seemed almost guided. One soldier shouted, "They're all over my gear, Captain! I can't get rid of them!" Captain Miller nodded grimly and instructed, "Use the bombardier artillery, maybe that will scare them off." The artillery crew hurriedly prepared their bombard weapons, aiming into the cloud of insects overhead. The insect swarm was relentless, attacking in swarms that felt almost sentient in their aggression. Suddenly the sound of artillery fire erupted, booming across the battlefield as shells rained down on the insects. The insects hesitated momentarily, caught in the blast, but then they resumed their assault with even more fury. It was as if the insects were immune to conventional weapons, immune to fear and fatigue. The soldiers observed that the insects didn't seem to be affected much by the explosions. Captain Miller, determined to protect his men, ordered a second barrage with increased intensity. Amidst the chaos, a young soldier named Jake shouted, "They're coming from the east!" He pointed wildly as new swarms approached from that direction, overwhelming the defenses. The insect's attack was precise, targeting the soldiers' faces, necks, and exposed skin with bites and stings. The battlefield was filled with the deafening hum of the insects and the deafening boom of artillery. Despite their best efforts, the soldiers found themselves gradually pushed back, overwhelmed by the insect assault. Captain Miller realized that this insect attack was unlike anything they'd faced before and called for a retreat. He barked, "Fall back! Get to the secondary trenches!" As they retreated, the insects continued to chase their buzzing, filling the air with an almost otherworldly sound. In the relative safety of the trenches, the soldiers paused to catch their breath and assess the damage. One soldier looked back at the field of chaos and muttered, "What kind of insects are these? They seem almost intelligent." Captain Miller grimaced and responded, "I've never seen anything like this in all my years. We need reinforcements." Suddenly, a signal crackled over the radio warning of an unspecifiable biological threat involving insects. The team realized this attack might be just the beginning of a new kind of warfare. In the quiet that followed, they were left contemplating the strange, relentless assault they experienced. The insects seemed to have a purpose, perhaps serving a more sinister force behind the scenes. The soldiers prepared to regroup and plan their next move, knowing they faced an unusual enemy. Commander Harris arrived with reinforcements, his face grim as he surveyed the scene. He ordered, "We need to find the source of these insects and stop them before they spread further." As night fell, the battlefield was eerily silent, except for the faint hum of distant insect activity. The soldiers knew they would need intelligence, patience, and perhaps new technology to combat this insect menace. Captain Miller looked out over the field, pondering whether the insects would return with even greater ferocity. He thought, "We've stumbled upon something new, and we must be prepared for whatever else comes." The insect attack in Scene 3 would go down in history as a strange and terrifying encounter. It challenged their understanding of warfare and introduced an unprecedented biological threat. As they fortified their positions, the soldiers vowed to unravel the mystery behind this insect invasion. They understood that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in their ongoing struggle for survival. The buzzing insects became a symbol of nature's unexpected fury, turning the battlefield into a bizarre battleground. From that day forward, the soldiers would always be wary of tiny creatures that could turn into a colossal threat. The insect attack demonstrated that sometimes the smallest enemies could cause the greatest chaos. And as dawn approached, they prepared for whatever this strange new adversary might bring next.